Alright guys, my name is Goblin, and today I'm going to be counting down the top 10 Oblivion mods in 2018. Now for this video I'm going to have a lot of interesting mods on this list, very different to the previous year's video, and probably a lot of mods you haven't heard about. For instance, I've got a mod which adds this really cool quest line to rebuild KVATCH. It's very impressive. I've got this huge magic mod which is going to add like 290 new spells to the game. I've got mods to fix the leveling in Skyrim, so you don't have to do boring power leveling over time. And I've got this mod which adds like loads and loads of weapons integrated into the loot box of the game. So let's jump in. Remember guys, the mods, obviously there's going to be a big link to a Google Drive document in the description for all the mods, so be sure to check that out. And also be sure to subscribe if you end up liking the video, because in my next video I'm going to be completely remastering Oblivion with a lot of graphical mods and EMB and stuff like that, so stay tuned. Just before we begin guys, I really appreciate a little bit of support on TAD. TAD is basically this little app you can download onto your phone. You watch a few little adverts and it basically generates YouTubers like a little bit of money. If you don't know, YouTubers earn about a third of what they used to now, and it's quite difficult to get monetized in the first place, because if you have a sword out or a gun out in a video game, the algorithm automatically will demonetize you because it doesn't understand context. So it's quite difficult to even get earn money from your videos in the first place. So anyway, you'll find the link to that in the description, but anyway, let's jump into the video. The first quest I have for you is KVATCH Rebuild. This is a really big adventure quest. It will start from you basically getting artifacts from Skingrad, and you go back into KVATCH and start rebuilding it, but it won't basically just be rebuilt straight away. You have to go and get artifacts, you have to go and get building materials, you have to do a series of quests to basically get more resources, and over time you can't just jump to it as well. You have to wait in-game time, for instance like 2 weeks for certain stages of a quest to progress. It's like properly, very realistically implemented into the world. You also need to complete certain stages of the main quest. It does feel like an extension of the main quest. It has its own arena guys, which is pretty cool. It almost feels like the whole mod feels like it would have been actually in the game, in the vanilla game, but it's restored content, if you know what I mean. The second mod I have for you is MIDAS Magic, which is very similar to the one for Skyrim. Basically, you're going to find a shop now outside of the Arcane University. There's this guy there, he was expelled from the Arcane University and now he makes his own crazy spells. You're going to have the ability to summon angels, tigers, astral stags. You even get your own magic carpet, and there's loads of different variations of destruction spells as well. Basically, you go into the shop and there's this big furnace in the shop, and you've got a little book as well which tells you everything about it. You put the ingredients into a furnace, for instance it could be diamonds, a robe and some lion pelt. And then you cast a spell on it and then it blows up, and then you loot it and it gives you a spell. So you basically have to create your own spells with certain ingredients, and these ingredients aren't actually like very easy to come by, so you're going to have to go out into the world and find certain ingredients, and some ingredients are unique to the mod as well. If you go into the basement, there's all these portals. I haven't really, I'll leave it for you guys to figure out. There's these weird portals to different worlds and stuff like that, and there's actually content and quests added to the mod as well, and you have to go through them in order to unlock all the spells. So it gives you plenty to do. The third mod on this list is my new favourite mod. It's called All Plus 5 Modifiers. It very simply fixes the power leveling boringness that is basically comes with vanilla Oblivion, because you know how in Oblivion you have to increase 10 skill points that govern a certain attribute about 10 times to get the +5 attribute when you level up. So for instance, you're going to have to level your block 10 times to get +5 endurance every level, and that's that is quite a feat. This basically changes it so you only have to increase one skill, and that'll be it. You increase your block chance once, your block skill once, that's it, +5 endurance. You increase your alchemy once, +5 intelligence when you level up. So it just fixes basically you don't have to power level endlessly and do a lot of boring power leveling and stuff, so there you go. Fourth mod I have is simply just called Better Dungeons. Now this works on caves, doesn't really work on anything else, it is just caves, and it makes the caves way more realistic and interesting. So you've got extra puzzles to solve, so you've got hidden treasures to find, You do find some really crazy, unique things, like just generally interesting things around the caves now. And the remapping of the caves makes them feel way more realistic and dangerous. You know, there's going to be more ledges, lots of tight gaps to squeeze through and stuff like that. For our fifth mod, we have immersive weapons. This adds just a huge collection of weapons to the loot table, and they're all integrated into the game very well. You don't just buy them from one vendor like what most mods do. It replaces, well, it doesn't really replace, it might do it or something, but it puts them properly into the world. I mean, you're going to be wandering around a fortress, you'll find bandits wandering around with the weapons equipped. So yeah, it basically works exactly how immersive weapons works in Skyrim. You're even going to have the ability to dual wield. You will have some certain weapons which, you know, can be dual wield. You have offhand weapons. You have pole arms, halberds, you know, all the classic kind of cool weapons from Morrowind. And, you know, some of them look really smart. I'm very impressed with the way these weapons have been designed. You even get a dagger version of the katana, so pretty cool. For number 6, we have DARNIFIED UI. It's basically a much clearer interface. What you'll find, the main thing about it is it's more zoomed out. So you won't have to scroll and scroll and scroll through menus to get to where you want, you know, at the bottom of the page. Yeah, so it's zoomed out, it's very easy to navigate in every single panel. The map's also a lot bigger and clearer, so that's another bonus. For number 7, we have Vanilla Combat Advanced. I mean, the combat in Vanilla Oblivion had its problems. I mean, the power attacks are basically useless because they did less DPS, they're only really used for stagger things. And you know, what this mod attempts to do is make the combat a lot more dangerous and a lot more frightening. You know, your damage is increased, because basically, I mean, all the enemies, including yourself in Oblivion, everything feels very spongy. Everything takes ages to kind of die, and this is going to fix that. It makes it so you do more damage, but you can also block more damage. So, you know, the blocking is more effective, so you're going to have to block properly, because if you don't block, you know, you're brown bread, basically. And it also adds a few new animations, a few more combat techniques, stuff like that. And the enemies will also be a lot more intelligent when it comes to their own survival. They will actually make the effort to use racial abilities, for instance, and healing abilities and stuff like that. For number 8, we have the Sounds of CYRODIL. This is, you know, an XT mods are going to be very immersive mods. The Sounds of CYRODIL is very impressive. It adds 2 new sound effects to the sorry, not 2, 200 new sound effects to the game, and the game just feels less empty. You'll be wandering around the world, and everything you look at will probably be making a noise. You'll hear waves, you'll hear birds, you'll hear the grass. Everything around you will be basically making a noise. And another cool thing is that you will be able to hear the wind and the weather outside, even when you're inside, and that's very impressive. The next mod, number 9 on this list, is called Weather All Natural, and it does something very similar to the previous mod, where you can actually see the weather effects from the inside. So when you're inside, you look out the window, you'll see rain, you'll see fog, you'll see sun shafting things going on. And the fog also is very more realistic, it's very thicker. I really do like the fog in the mod, because you basically can see very much. You have very low visibility and you can't see very far in front of you. I do like that. You'll notice that outside, if you're wandering outside in the dark, it's actually going to be dark. You know, there isn't, you know, some random light. Like, there's a lot of illogical light in Oblivion and Skyrim, which is kind of annoying. The storms, you know, they're going to be louder, they're going to be wetter. And the skyboxes also look a lot better. You look into the sky, and the sky just generally looks a lot more pleasant. For number 10, we have Dynamic Map. This is a very impressive map mod. I haven't seen a map mod like this, you know, ever. It makes the map feel more like Google Maps, because you do have your own zooming feature, which is pretty cool. And another very impressive thing is it's going to change depending on what depending on what mods you have installed. So for instance, you have the mod, I think it's called Unique Landscapes, something like that. It adds a load of different landscapes and new areas to the map. The map is going to take a, you know, it's going to acknowledge that. They will appear on the map. So, you know, there's a lot of different options. You've got like the vanilla map, you've got the elven map. You've also got a map where it will also have all the other countries. Like, you do see the other countries on the vanilla map, but this map will, you know, add a lot of detail to them as well, and it will colour them as well. So I quite like it. It's just a nice little detail, because you can see the whole of Elsewhere, and you can see little cities in Elsewhere, and other things like that. Anyway lads, I'm going to end the video there. Really appreciate some support on TAD. Remember, the link for that is in the description. You also find the mods all in the description as well. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next video, obviously. And I'm streaming a lot of Oblivion right now, so stay tuned for that. My name is the MIDAS. Until my next video, ciao.